We are kicking off with WrestleMania 41 as the show's second night began with a triple threat match for the Women's World Championship. The story of this match was that Io Sky had been underestimated and overlooked by Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, so it was only fitting that Sky got the win in Las Vegas. As Ripley and Belair focused on one another, Sky took advantage by hitting an over-the-moonsault for the win, mirroring the way she won the NXT Women's title, also in a triple threat. During the match, there was a botch when Ripley and Belair were slugging it out, and one of Bianca's punches caught Rhea off guard, forcing her to fall backwards. Ripley was able to recover and continue, but it was clear that she was not supposed to fall when she did, though after this, the match continued as planned, with three very talented stars. This was an excellent triple threat, the second fantastic match of its kind on this year's WrestleMania card, and followed up nicely from Punk, Rollins, and Reigns. From inventive spots to near falls to Sky's validating win, this was an instant classic and easily one of the best women's matches to ever grace a WrestleMania ring. In the Sin City Street Fight, Drew McIntyre avenged years of setbacks and shortcomings to Damian Priest by getting the win at WrestleMania 41 Sunday. In a nod to last year's event, McIntyre took a break from the action to check his social media and shared a message saying he was still bored at work. The pair used weapons including tables before McIntyre used a steel chair-enhanced claymore to defeat the man who ended his World Heavyweight title reign at last year's event. Both men played their part well, with Priest getting one of the coolest, most metal entrances in WrestleMania history thanks to Kerry King of Slayer. This was our second action-packed match for the Sunday portion of the show and properly conveyed the disdain each man had for the other without taking things too far with the violence. The right man won as McIntyre needed this win badly, and with the crowd firmly behind the action, this was a great showcase for two men who could be back in the title picture soon. There was a scary moment after the match, however, as Priest was heard telling the referee checking him, "I can't breathe and I need medical help." As to whether this was a story moment or signs of a genuine medical issue, that remains to be seen, but we hope to provide an update on the condition of the former World Heavyweight Champion. In four-way action, Dominik Mysterio claimed the Intercontinental Championship, dethroning Braun Breaker in a bout that included Dom's Judgment Day ally Finn Balor as well as Penta. In contrast to Night 1's hot-cold moments, this was our third straight banger on Night 2 as all four men delivered, with Breaker and Penta holding their own in their WrestleMania debuts. From the very start, it was teased that Balor and Dom would not coexist, with the pair even arriving in different colors rather than the unified black and purple of the faction. Balor hit a coup de grace in the closing moments, only to eat a frog splash from Mysterio, who got the win and his first taste of singles main roster titles. While he is a former NXT North American champion, this win is far bigger for Mysterio in a match that exceeded expectations and was a ton of fun to watch. If there was an issue, it was Dominik struggling to take his mask off during his entrance, but Michael Cole's laughter at the situation helped cover for what could have been an awkward spot. The match kept the spotlight on Breaker, and while a new champion was crowned, the focus on Braun could indicate that WWE is ready to move the former IC champion further up the card. There were plenty of ways that this title match could have gone, so why did WWE go with Dominik Mysterio as the brand new Intercontinental Champion? For one, it added a genuine shock to the show given that many fans had predicted it'd be Breaker or Penta winning in their WrestleMania debuts. In fact, Dom had even said in an interview that if it came to it, he'd help Balor get the win, making his actions and victory a massive surprise. This win could also mark the end of Finn Balor's exit from the Judgment Day, as it seems the issues between himself and Mysterio will be unfixable post-WrestleMania. With Liv Morgan certain to back Dom and Raquel to back Liv, the numbers aren't on Balor's side, and if either man has to leave the team, fans can expect Balor to be kicked out. The win also rejuvenates Dom's singles career, given that as of late, he's been mostly in tag team matches or serving as the added help of Liv Morgan. Now Mysterio has a reason to further his career as a singles competitor, and fans can expect to see plenty of the new Intercontinental Champion going forward. Was Mysterio the right choice to win, or do you think someone else should have left Las Vegas with the gold? Let us know in the comments. With Kevin Owens out of action due to an injury, Randy Orton arrived at WrestleMania wearing a blue and yellow attire that some fans may have found familiar. The attire was designed to replicate Orton's WrestleMania 20 attire, as this year's event marked Orton's 20th time competing at the Showcase of the Immortals. While names like Rusev and Aleister Black were rumored, it was TNA World Champion Joe Hendry that answered Orton's call, though he may have regretted this decision. Hendry and Orton wrestled for a few minutes before the Viper got the RKO and the win, and the match was little outside the special appearance and pop Hendry received. TNA officials may see this as an opportunity to have a role at WrestleMania, and Hendry may see it as a dream come true, but having TNA's top star be beaten so handily was an odd call. If anything, it seemed to suggest that TNA talent will never be on the level of WWE superstars, hardly a good omen for what'll be a multi-year partnership between the two sides. Then again, such a match would have never been dreamt of just a few years ago, proving that WWE's current administration is far different than the Vince McMahon era. AJ Styles and Logan Paul battled in our next match, but Styles' refusal to go back to his evil ways would ultimately cost the former world champion. There was a notable botch on commentary as during AJ's entrance, Michael Cole said AJ was entering his 5th WrestleMania match, when in fact it was his 9th time in action. Late into the match, Karrion Kross arrived to try and coax AJ to use the brass knuckles one of Paul's lackeys had introduced and called Styles Alan, the Phenomenal One's real name. Styles refused and struck Kross, but after he and Paul battled for a bit longer and traded Styles clashes, it was the Maverick who got the victory. This match was fine, but didn't exactly do anything to change the perception that Styles has had a rather mundane time throughout his career at WWE's Showcase of the Immortals. He and Paul not having the best of chemistry also didn't help, especially when one compares Paul's past bouts at WrestleMania against the likes of Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens. As for the result, this will likely blossom into a rivalry between Styles and Kross, which should benefit both men, though at this juncture, feels like a feud neither man can afford losing. As expected, WrestleMania 41 Sunday saw the return of Becky Lynch, who teamed with Lyra Valkyria to win the women's tag team titles from Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. After close to a year away, it was hardly a surprise that the beloved Lynch was cheered, though there's an argument to be made that this match only helped her and nobody else. Valkyria, now a double champion, hardly shined in her WrestleMania debut, while Liv and Raquel simply traded turns, being the punching bag for Becky in the closing minutes. The real victim in all of this is Bayley, who was ripped from the WrestleMania card with a kayfabe injury, when in fact it's reported she was never intended to be competing at the event. Perhaps this will lead to Lynch being revealed as the one who attacked Bayley, though that would seem too similar to Naomi replacing Jade Cargill as Bianca Belair's tag team partner. And in the main event, undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes battled John Cena in a match that fans have been waiting to see since John's heel turn in Toronto. When the dust was settled, Cena fulfilled part of his promise to ruin wrestling, winning a historic 17th world title, and did so by fully embracing his heel ways. Cena's entrance was free of color or videos, another excellent example of WWE stripping back what made the old John Cena, and contrasted with Rhodes' flashy entrance in Las Vegas. There was a slight botch with Cena's entrance though, as a cable appeared out of place, forcing a crouched production member to run out and sit on the ramp in full view for Cena's arrival. When the referee was taken out, Travis Scott arrived, though took his sweet time getting into the ring before taking a crossroads, a receipt for what happened at Elimination Chamber. Cena introduced the WWE title into proceedings, but Cody was conflicted as to whether to use it, giving John the opportunity to hit a low blow and use the title to get the win. The finish did not go down with many, especially as Rhodes came off as too reluctant to strike the man who he's had no problem laying into for weeks. One could argue that Rhodes should have had no issue doing whatever it took to keep Cena from taking the WWE title away from the fans and ruining wrestling in the process. In terms of in-ring action, the match was fine, but things got messy when Scott showed up, and while his arrival left fans waiting to see The Rock, the final boss was a no-show. Fans invested into this story have been waiting for weeks for The Rock, given that it was he who had WWE's biggest babyface arguably ever sell his soul and initiate his heel turn. John's title win is historic for many ways, but the lack of The Rock and the clunky finish put a damper on what should have been the biggest and best match of the weekend. But why did WWE have Cena get the win, ending the 378-day reign of the man who has replaced John as the top star of the company in Cody Rhodes? Well, the obvious reason is that this is John's final run in WWE, and had a title win not come at WrestleMania, it's likely he would have never gotten this 17th title win. Breaking Flair's record is something many fans believe John has earned after decades of loyal service to WWE, and it was truly now or never inside Allegiant Stadium. Cena's win also continues to escalate his heel turn, as the WWE icon has fulfilled part of his promise to ruin wrestling for the fans and the superstars. Now it'll be on John to keep the title until he retires, at which point he has claimed WWE will have to create a new toy for talent, one without the decades of history of the real WWE title. Cena's victory also sets him up for a title program against arguably his greatest nemesis Randy Orton, and one final match between the two WWE legends. With both men winning at WrestleMania, it'd make sense for Orton to be moved back into the title picture, with a title match expected by fans at the upcoming Backlash PLE. With the show taking place in Orton's hometown of St. Louis, a match would be fitting, and perhaps the last showdown the pair will ever have before Cena retires this year. But what do you think? Were WWE right to have Cena win, or should the title have remained on Cody Rhodes? Let us know down in the comments section. Stone Cold was part of WrestleMania's second night, and while his announcement of the show's attendance was as expected, there were some serious issues. Austin drove to the ring on his ATV, and during his arrival, the vehicle crashed into the guardrail, causing one fan to fall backwards. It should be said that the ATV didn't hit the fan, and in fact, the barricade held its own against the vehicle, but this was clearly a botched entrance and not what WWE had wanted. To make that clear, as Austin went to leave, he checked on the fallen fan, and Nick Khan was also on the scene in a rare on-screen appearance on WWE programming. While Khan often appears on shows to talk about WWE, he rarely appears on WWE shows themselves, and his appearance shows that WWE was concerned with the fan that had fallen. Hopefully we'll have updates on this situation in due time, as Austin's driving error proves that anything can happen during a live show. But that was WrestleMania 41 Sunday, and what did you think? Was it better than the Saturday portion of the show? Let us know down in the comments section below. We're going back to night one now, as there were some huge booking choices made to decide the winners of the Saturday show, with Seth Rollins standing tall being the biggest. Rollins won on night one's main event over CM Punk and Roman Reigns thanks to Paul Heyman, but why did Rollins get this massive victory? For one, Heyman's alliance proved pivotal, and WWE storytelling demonstrated why Heyman turned on his best friend and the OTC. Punk had been the one to put Paul in a difficult position, while Reigns had been demanding that Heyman go back on the promised favor he made to be in the corner of the best in the world. The only man who hadn't caused Heyman problems was Seth, and Rollins had even said Paul had a choice whether to give him a favor or not after Seth didn't attack him on a recent Raw. Also, Rollins and Heyman opens up a lot more narrative opportunities rather than Heyman going back to working with Punk and Reigns, something fans have seen for years. Tiffany Stratton's victory over Charlotte Flair came as a shock to many, but why did WWE have Tiffy time win over their most decorated woman of all time? It's possible WWE was aware of the backlash a Flair win would have caused, as fans have criticized Charlotte for years for having titles thrust upon her at the expense of others. Having Flair win another title at the expense of a younger popular talent would not have gone down well, and while Flair may still win the title, holding off was the right call at WrestleMania. And we're ending with more from WrestleMania Night 2, as after the show went off the air, John Cena smugly gloated about his victory by posing in the ring. If this was to get fans to boo him, though, it didn't seem to work, as when Cena made his way to the back, he was given a "Thank you Cena" chant from the fans John claims to despise. To be fair, fans are well aware that this was John's final time competing at WrestleMania, so hopefully this chant won't be replicated when the new champ appears on tonight's Raw. If WWE intends to keep Cena as a heel, this is a chant they won't want on TV, and it remains to be seen what kind of response the 17-time world champion gets from here on.